Have you ever felt that little nudge, that pressure to just agree with everyone in the room, even when your gut is screaming, no, that's not right? Well, today we're digging into a famous experiment that explains exactly why we do that. And let me tell you, the answer is pretty revealing.
I mean, really think about it for a second. You're in a meeting, maybe a class, or just hanging out with friends. Everyone seems to agree on something, but you see it totally differently. But what do? You probably just stay quiet, right? You might even nod your head a little. Why on earth do we do that? This whole explainer is going to get right to the heart of that exact feeling. To get our answer, we've got to travel back in time. It's the 1950s, and a psychologist named Solomon Asch is obsessed with a really profound question. Just how powerful is social pressure? Is it powerful enough to make us literally deny what's right in front of our own eyes?
So how in the world do you test something like that? Well, he came up with an experiment that, honestly, looked almost silly on the surface. It was just a simple vision test. Or so it seemed.
Okay, so imagine you're one of the participants. You walk in, sit down, and they show you a card. On it is a single line. That's it. Super simple.
Then up comes a second card. This one has 3 different lines on it, labeled A, B, and C. Again, nothing complicated here. And your job is just to say which of the 3 lines, A, B, or C, is the same length as the line on that first card. I mean, the answer is completely, totally obvious. There's no trick to it. But here's the thing. The vision test was never the real test. And this is where it all gets wild. Because, you see, you think you're in a room full of other test subjects just like you, but you're not. Every single other person at that table is an actor, and they've all been given a script. You are the only person in the room who has no idea what's about to go down.
So, this clever little setup brings us to the most important question of all. What happens when the group, one by one, starts telling the same obvious lie? How do you react when you're the only one who can see the truth?
So, for the first couple of rounds, everything feels totally normal. The first person gives the right answer, then the second, then you. It's all easy. You kind of relax. But then, something changes. On the next card, the first person gives an answer that is clearly, obviously wrong. Then the second person gives the same wrong answer. And the third, and the fourth, all totally calm about it. And now, it's your turn to speak.
The results were just staggering. A whopping 75% of people conformed to the group's wrong answer at least one time. Just let that sink in. 3 out of every 4 people were willing to say something they knew was false just to go along with the crowd. Overall, about a third of the time when the group was lying, the real subject just went along with it.
So why? Why did they do it? Well, when Asch talked to them afterward, it boiled down to a couple of things. For some, they just didn't want to be the odd one out. They knew the answer was wrong, but that feeling of being judged or looking stupid was just too much to handle. Fitting in felt better than being right.
But here's the part that's even more mind-blowing. Some of the participants actually started to doubt their own eyesight. The pressure of a unanimous group was so intense that it made them think, wow, maybe I'm the one who's wrong here. They all see it that way, so they must be right. They didn't just change their answer, they actually changed what they believed to be true.
And you know, this instinct is buried deep inside our DNA. For our ancient ancestors, if you got kicked out of the tribe, that was it. Game over. You couldn't survive alone. Now, today, the stakes are obviously a lot lower. Being rejected just leads to anxiety or feeling awkward, but that ancient alarm bell in our brain still screams at us when we're about to stand all alone.
But here's the good news. The experiment didn't just show us how easily we conform. It also, maybe accidentally, revealed a powerful way to break the spell of that group pressure, a kind of antidote.
So just remember, when you're the only voice of dissent against a confident, unified group, the pressure is enormous, and that's when conformity is at its highest.
So then, Asch tried something new, a brilliant little tweak. He wondered what would happen if the subject wasn't totally alone. What if he told just one of the actors to break ranks with the others and give the correct answer?
And wouldn't you know it, the effect was like a bolt of lightning. Just having a single ally, one other person in the room saying the right thing, made conformity rates plummet by more than 75%. All of a sudden, people felt free. They felt empowered to trust their own gut and say what they actually saw.
And that right there is the hopeful takeaway from all of this. Yes, the pressure to conform is a powerful force, but the power of one single person with the courage to speak up is, in its own way,
even stronger. It's like it gives everyone else permission to be brave too.
So look, this isn't just some old, dusty story from a psych lab back in the 50s. It's really a mirror, and it reflects these little choices that we are all facing every single day in all parts of our lives.
You see this exact dynamic playing out all the time, right? The student who's afraid to ask a dumb question in class, the employee in a meeting who knows an idea is terrible but doesn't say anything, and, oh man, especially online, where social media mobs decide what's right and wrong in a heartbeat. The pressure to just go with the flow is absolutely everywhere.
We end up sharing things that are popular, maybe not what's totally true. We stay quiet during that tense family dinner just to keep the peace. So often, we choose what feels safe, the comfort of the crowd, even when we have a sinking feeling that the crowd is walking in the wrong direction.
But here's the thing you have to remember. Every single time the world has taken a giant leap forward, in science, in art, in human rights, it all started with one person who had the courage to be that lone voice, the one who refused to conform. They were the ally that everyone else, waiting silently, needed to see.
And so, that leaves us right back where we started, with the same question that Asch's experiment put on the table all those years ago. When you find yourself in that room and everyone is giving the wrong answer, what do? Do you go along with it? Or do you trust what you see and speak your truth? In the end, that choice is always yours.